The dinner rush had finally thinned when Mara wiped the counter and let her shoulders drop. Her feet throbbed inside worn sneakers, and the smell of grease clung to her hair. Table 12, corner booth, leather seats cracked like old smiles, was the last one to clear. The man who'd sat there wore a charcoal suit that didn't wrinkle when he leaned back. He'd spoken softly, politely, asking questions about the menu as if he had all the time in the world. He ordered simply, ate neatly, paid without looking up, and tipped nothing. Mara noticed it when she picked up the receipt. A clean line where a number should have been. 0. Not even a dash. She swallowed. It shouldn't have hurt, it wasn't the first time, but tonight the math felt heavier. Daycare late fee. Groceries. Her son Leo's asthma inhaler running low. She folded the receipt, smoothed it flat, and told herself what she always did, keep moving. She reached for the plate. Something scraped. Mara froze. She lifted the plate slowly. Beneath it, tucked against the vinyl seat, was a folded card. Thick. Expensive. The kind of paper you don't see in diners with flickering lights and chipped mugs. Her name was written on the front. Mara. Her pulse kicked. She glanced around. The man was gone. The door chimed as someone else entered, laughter spilling in with the cold. She opened the card. Inside, neat handwriting filled the page. I'm sorry for the 0. It was intentional. Tonight wasn't about money. It was about noticing who notices. You did. Mara frowned. Noticing what? She turned the card over. A small envelope slid out and landed in her palm, heavier than it looked. Inside was a folded check. Her breath caught. The number made her knees weak. She sat down hard in the booth, plate still in her hand. Everything okay? Called Jenna from the register. Mara nodded automatically, heart pounding. The check was real. Bank watermark. Signature. A name she recognized instantly, one she'd seen on buildings downtown, on business headlines that scrolled silently on the diner's mounted TV. Billionaire. She read the card again, slower this time. The line that stuck wasn't the amount. Who notices? Her mind replayed the evening. The way he'd asked about her shift. How he'd paused when Leo's drawing, taped behind the counter, caught his eye. The moment she'd quietly corrected the bill when the POS system double-charged him for a coffee. You overpaid, she'd said, sliding the receipt back. Happens sometimes. He'd studied her then. Not her uniform. Her. Mara folded the card and envelope back together and slipped them into her apron. Her hand shook as she cleared the table, wiped it down, reset the salt shakers. When she got home that night, Leo was asleep on the couch, his cartoon paused mid-jump. She tucked him into bed, kissed his forehead, then sat at the tiny kitchen table and stared at the card under the yellow light. On the back, she noticed something she'd missed before, a phone number. And a line written smaller, almost as an afterthought. If you want to know why, call me. She didn't sleep much. At dawn, she made coffee she barely tasted and watched the city wake up through the window. Bills lay stacked beside her. The check rested on top like it didn't belong there. At 8:02 a.m., she called. He answered on the second ring. Mara, he said, as if he'd been expecting her. You left 0, she said, before she could stop herself. I did. Why? A pause. Not awkward. Thoughtful. Because most people don't correct a mistake when it costs them, he said. They assume someone like me won't notice. Or won't care. And the check. Because integrity should never go unpaid. Silence settled between them, thick and warm. I'm opening a foundation, he continued. We fund people who do the right thing when no one's watching. I need someone who understands the ground level. Real life. Single parents. Service workers. Mara laughed softly, disbelief cracking through. I'm a waitress. You're a systems thinker, he said. You caught an error in seconds. You manage chaos all night. You showed honesty without performance. She thought of Leo's inhaler. The late fees. The quiet pride she'd taught her son with no audience. "What are you asking?" she said. "Come have coffee," he replied. "This time, I'm tipping first." A month later, Mara still worked the diner, but only 2 nights a week. The rest of her time went into building programs that paid emergency childcare, covered medical gaps, fixed small financial cracks before they became disasters. The card stayed taped behind the counter, next to Leo's drawing. Not for the money. For the reminder that sometimes, the moment that changes everything looks like a zero, until you lift the plate and look underneath.